Today, we're talking about creating a scalable consulting business model. Hi, my name is Jasmine Womack. I'm a wife, a mother, I'm a woman of God, and I am a trendsetter. I help authors, speakers, and coaches stand out as subject matter authorities on their topic and in their industry. And I do this by helping them to write and self-publish a best-selling book, and then I teach them how to turn their book into programs, courses, and premium priced coaching communities. And so if you have a consulting business and you've been wanting to grow it, then this session is definitely for you. All right. Now, there are some differences between coaching and consulting. Coaching is pretty much helping your client to arrive at their own destination or to their own results, or helping them to arrive at their own realization through a series of strategic questioning. Okay. However, when it comes to consulting, this means that you have a proven framework and you are telling someone what to do step by step. There's a stark difference between coaching and consulting. However, in the online coaching industry, typically they are referred to as one and the same. Okay. And they're not the same. They're not the same. So let's be very clear. Coaching, again, is where you are using a series of strategic questions to help your client to arrive at their own realization, and help them to articulate what they need to do. Because most of the time, people know what they need to do, especially when this thing is considering, a personal matter, and even sometimes business decisions involving relationships. However, people don't want to accept that that's what they need to do. And so they get with someone that helps them to verbalize it so that they can actually embrace it and accept it. Whereas consultants actually give people a recipe for success. This is where you are giving someone a step-by-step framework or a step-by-step blueprint so that they can be successful with something, or so that they can achieve a specific thing. Also, typically, this is why consulting tends to be more higher ticket than coaching. Okay. But not all the time, because it really depends. If you're in the coaching space, it really depends on who you're coaching and the type of things that you're coaching them through. Like, I have a client, she only coaches corporate executives, and her coaching package is $25,000 for 9 months, because she's working with leaders who lead teams and who lead companies, right? And so she's their sounding board to help them navigate those waters. Okay. However, in a consulting space, someone like me would come in and give you an actual strategy, a formula, and say, this is how you do this, step one, step two, step three, and likely provide support and guidance while you are doing that. Okay. So it's important to make sure that you're using the correct terminology for what you are doing. Okay. So with that being said, we're going to talk about creating a scalable consulting business model, because most of the clients that I work with who are creating thought leadership from their books and who are becoming sought after speakers also typically want to move into the consulting space, but they erroneously refer to it as coaching. So if you want to host workshops, you want to get paid, thousands of dollars to host corporate trainings, you want to work with clients one-on-one in a capacity to help them achieve a specific result, 9 times out of 10, you are in the consulting space. All right. And so if you are new to me, my name is Jasmine Womack. I am a former language arts teacher. I was a teacher for 12 years before I wrote my first book. I grew my first book to 6 figures within 18 months, and then grew it to $1 million business within 4 years. And so that's what I help others to do. I work with other experts. I work with other leaders who have expertise to share. You've been doing what you've been doing for 15, 20, 25 years. You've got the credentials. You've got the experience. You've been paid to do it and do it well. now you're ready to actually make this work for you. So you're not new to what you're doing. Okay. I don't work with novices. I work with experienced people. All right. So I help experts and leaders to transform their expertise and their $1 million message into a best-selling book, become a sought-after speaker, and then also help them to create a high-ticket coaching program. Oftentimes, for some reason, when it comes to writing a book, people always think that it has to be about their personal story, and they also begin to think bottom of the barrel. And so I am here to shift your mind about what it means to be an author. I'm here to shift your mind about helping you to understand the level of impact that you can have in someone's life, not just by writing a book, but by creating thought leadership around your message. So that means that you're writing the books. That means that you're creating the content. That means that you are on the podcast interviews, right? And in some cases, you may have your own podcast. And that also means that you are creating other methods to help people have amazing success, whether that is through training, consulting, and working one-on-one with clients, working one-on-one or with groups, in groups with clients. Okay. So if you're trying to be the next, what's her name, Ressa Tessa, and just share your story, and this isn't the space. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to people who don't want to just be an overnight sensation and then a month from now nobody knows who you are. I'm talking to those of you all who you want to build solid, sustainable businesses so that 3 years, 5 years, 10 years from now, you are still making impact. And if you're with me, put with you in the chat. I got to be very clear. Because we're not just talking about, oh, you're going to share your story. Because here's the thing. Your story will be gossip fodder if you don't actually talk to people about how you made it out. So this is where the thought leadership comes in. We're not just talking about your story. Yes, your story is a part of it, but it's more so about teaching the strategies and helping someone have those mindset shifts and those emotional shifts that they need to get to the next level. It's about identifying who your readers are, who your target audience is, your readers, who then you can also turn into clients, and helping them to achieve a specific result. And so if you're trying to be, I had to talk about it because I see people saying, oh, I need to tell my story, this, that, and you absolutely should, but there needs to be some strategy around it, or else a week from today, nobody's going to be talking about you. Or if they do, it's going to be just on the gossip mill, right? There has to be a strategy around it. There absolutely has to be. Because what I saw, and I haven't checked recently, but what I saw was like 1 million followers and like 55 people in the membership. So that means that whatever attention is coming to that particular young lady, it's definitely instantaneous, but it's going to be short-lived. I will be extremely surprised if it turns into anything more. It's going to be short-lived. And in the next 3 to 4 weeks, people are going to be talking about the latest podcast interview. People are going to be talking about the next thing to go viral. They won't even be talking about that anymore. You don't want to have a brand that is not sustainable. You don't want that. And you don't want to have a brand that cannot be monetized or that won't be monetized for the long haul. All right. So let's talk about how to create a scalable consulting model. Now, when we talk about scaling, you shouldn't be focused on scaling if you haven't gone through the growth phase. So if you're in the growth phase where you are maybe wanting, you're trying to secure your first 10 clients, put grow in the chat. Okay. Scaling means that you're in a space where you're actually growing your company, growing it in mass. Okay. So when you want to scale, that means that you are building your infrastructure in a way in which it's going to support the future growth in your company. So this means that the things that might have gotten you to where you are as a solopreneur are going to be different when you scale. This is why when people's businesses grow, overnight, or they grow pretty fast. You may have heard the term, or you may have heard people say, everything in my business broke. Well, it did, because it means that the systems and the processes that they had that were operating and functioning well on the level that they were operating and functioning at did not work when their business grew or when they got more clients. The first thing that you have to do is, number one, determine how much you want your company to grow or scale within a period of time, because this often comes through strategy. Okay. So do you want more income? Do you want more clients, or both? And what is your plan to get there? What is your plan to make it happen? So are you going after your first 10 clients? Do you want 25 clients? Are you in a space where you want to work with 100 clients in a year? So you have to determine how much you want your company to grow. Now, your company, you might say that you want your company to grow in a myriad of ways. For example, you might say, listen, I don't want to work with a lot of clients, but I do want high income. So that means that you're going to have a high touch, high income business structure, meaning that you're going to sell high ticket or ultra high ticket to and work with a small number of clients. Okay, high touch means that they get a lot of access to you. That means that they get a lot of access to you. They might have weekly meetings with you. You're in constant communication. They may have access to you via a Slack channel or Boxer. You're just always there, right? I have clients who have $40,000 and $50,000 programs, but they're working with a few number of people in a consulting space. So, like, for instance, I'll share with you all, my leadership consultant is $50,000 for the year, right? But that's when I'm working with someone one-on-one, and I am deep in their business and helping them to build out their business infrastructure and their processes and all of the things. Okay. I can scale a high touch, high ticket in income if I choose to, because it's high income, but I'm only working with a few CEOs, and I'm working with them to put the infrastructure in their business. Whereas in a group coaching program, it's going to be lower to mid ticket, where I'll work with more people. So you have to determine, are you going to be low touch, mid ticket? You can even have middle touch, high ticket, meaning that your clients might have an opportunity to have you review their work, right? They might get quarterly, they might get one-on-ones with you on maybe a monthly basis or a quarterly basis. That's what I call mid-touch. That's what I call mid-touch versus something that's all group, where you might have a group call every week, a group Q&A every week. You might have group bonus trainings, group accountability sessions, versus everything is group, and that can be mid-ticket, mid-ticket, lower touch. They still get access to you. Something that's low ticket, low touch is like a self-study course. Somebody does not get any access to you, but they get access to the material. Anytime somebody gets access to you, that's a touch. And the more access someone gets, typically the more the investment, because that's your time. Okay. So you need to determine how much you want your company to grow, how much you want it to scale, and what that looks like. Are you going to be high ticket, high touch, fewer clients? Are you going to be mid ticket, more clients, mid touch? Like, what is that going to be? And if you are in a space where you are building your consulting program, I don't recommend that you start out with just trying to sell a course in the online space. If you are training and speaking, I do recommend that you absolutely have a book and you create a course, because then you can license the course to schools, to organizations, to companies, and to colleges. And they can purchase X amount of licenses for their employees or for their students. That is the only reason why I would really encourage you to have a course if you want to go in that direction. That's the only reason that I would say, hey, you push this course. But otherwise, especially when you are in the growing phase, a self-study course isn't going to be the way to go. After you've had your business for a while, you have X amount of you've worked with at least 100 students or whatnot, and you want to just have a course to sell in your store as passively. Maybe it's something that you used to teach that you no longer teach, but it would still be beneficial to your audience or to some people in your audience, then yes. But just creating a course and then trying to sell it at scale. The people who are selling courses at scales, they're spending a lot of money on a lot of ads. Okay. Different people will say different things. In my opinion, mid-ticket is 2,500 to 9,000. Anything between 2,500 and 9,000, typically I consider to be mid-ticket. Some people consider $2,500 to be high ticket. I don't, because I've invested in $2,500 programs before that I got a year access to, no access to the person who created it. So it just really depends on your experience and what your perception is. I've invested upwards of 50 to 60K before in one program. That's considered ultra high ticket. Like 50K and above typically is ultra high ticket. Okay. And the ultra high ticket offers typically will include some done for you. So if people are talking about an ultra high ticket offer, right? That's not just coaching and consulting. Typically is not. You're either number one in a super high level mastermind, like for 7-figure business owners. So I know a coach who has a mastermind for 7-figure business owners, and I believe the investment is around 50 or 60K. But everybody in that program has $1 million business or more. So it makes sense. But it also comes with the experiences. So typically, if you have like ultra high ticket offers, they're going to come with some experiences. So like this 50, 60K program also comes with quarterly retreats that people actually go to. Some programs have retreats that people don't go to. Their people actually go to the retreats because they want to be in communion with other multi-million-dollar business owners. And so their quarterly retreats is like their time to break away from the business and be trained. So typically, if you have ultra high ticket offers, it's either going to be targeted for a certain group of people, or it's going to have a level of done for you in it. So for example, I do have an ultra high ticket offer. It's $125,000 and it's a platinum offer, but we work together for a year. In that year, every quarter we have a different project. So like my ultra high ticket offer is where for one quarter you work with me to write your book. My team edits, publishes it. We do all the layout, the interior design, the book cover, and also provide you with a certain number of books, and also provide you with a certain number of marketing materials. The next quarter we have a branding shoot where you're styled by my stylist, makeup artist, my makeup artist, hair done. We don't pay for the clothes, but we do cover the branding shoot. It's a full day branding shoot where you'll get enough photos to last for a year. And in that, we also give you marketing video. So not only will you have your photo shoot, but you'll also create some videos as well to promote your book and to promote other things that you're doing. That's the second quarter. Another quarter 3 will work on your marketing plan. So you'll have a VIP day with me and my CMO, who will work together to map out a whole entire marketing plan for you and your company, for an entire year. And not just map it out, but actually give you the content to post or the ideas and stuff like that. And then the fourth quarter, we would create your course. So we'll get together. You'll have a full a day or two of filming where we will actually bring our video crew in to film you giving the information. Then we would go and also create the worksheets and the assets, build out your course hosting platform and all of that. So basically you get an entire business created for you over the course of 1 year. And I only work with like 1 or 2 people per year for that. But that is ultra high ticket offer. All you have to do is show up, or show up for whatever calls, interviews, information that I need, to create the content, and then myself and my team will handle everything else. I have a background in instructional design. I have an entire master's degree in curriculum and instruction, a specialist in leadership and curriculum, and working on a doctorate in leadership and curriculum now. So instructional design, I know it like the back of my hand. Not only have I done it, but I have degrees in it. And I also have experience and credentials in leadership as well. Speak in Tash, you said, which program is this? This is my program. It's called the Platinum Leaders Program. But that's my high ticket. That's my ultra high ticket offer. So after I've broken it down like that, you can see why it is what it is. Because if you were to go do this yourself, then you would end up paying that or more within various coaching programs, not to mention the time that it's going to take you to build everything out yourself versus working with me and my team to do it. You guys have seen my branding, you've seen my content. We've have, generated a lucrative amount in courses over the years. So versus you doing it or me working with my team, and we do build your business out over the course of a year. So that's ultra high ticket. But because of the work involved and because I want to be very involved in the process, I could easily build out an agency and that's just what we do. I don't want that. I'm very clear that I do not want a lot of team members. I've always wanted a very small, strong, yet powerful team. So if I wanted to scale that up and say, hey, we're going to take 15 or 20 clients and just off of a 10, 15 clients generate $1 million in a year from that, I could, but I'm also thinking about what that's going to cost in the back end and the effort. I don't want to do that. Maybe one day I will, but right now, at the time of this recording, I don't want to do that on that level, but it always is an option. Right now, I just want to keep that small. So I only work with 1 or 2 people. I'm not scaling that up, but the income can be scaled up, right? Because that means that off of working with 2 clients, I can generate $250K before expenses. Does this make sense? But that's an ultra high ticket offer. So that's an example of a high touch, high ticket offer. Fewer clients, high touch, high ticket. Whereas I have group programs that range between $5,000 and $20,000, $5,000 and $20,000 that give a range of access, that give different experiences, virtual intensives, in-person intensives, access to me, one-on-one calls, feedback on your work, so on and so forth. So like, for instance, we're doing our mastermind retreat next month. My masterminders, they're going to come in, right? We have, going to have a beautiful space for them. And they're going to have 2 days of training along with breakfast, along with their food covered the entire time, and along with any resources that they're going to need. So that's an example of high touch, but it's not as high touch as an ultra high ticket offer because they're still doing the work themselves, but they have us to guide them and consult them through the process and teach them step by step by step. So I can scale that up in terms of members. I hope that this is making sense. So when you first have to determine what you want your company to look like and how much you want it to scale. The second thing that you're going to need is the systems. You got to determine the systems that you're going to need for your business model. So if you're going to do high touch, high ticket, you might not need anything robust like Kajabi or Kartra or Thinkific. You just might need a CRM like Dubsado or a Honeybook that is going to automate your communication, your processes, and keep track of all assets in communication. But if you're working with people in groups and you're working with a number of people, then that means that you're probably going to need some calendars. That means that you're going to need a course hosting platform. You're going to probably need a client management dashboard. You likely are also going to need some type of documented sales process and sales system if you want to grow and work with groups. And a lot of people don't do this. They just say that they want to have a group program, but they don't have any plan for how they're going to sell their program. They don't have any type of nurturing plan in place, follow-up plan for clients that might be interested, but they may not have signed up yet. It's just, you're just out there. And so when you want to build a business that's going to grow and scale, these are the things that people don't talk about, but that actually contribute to a solid and sustainable business over time. Okay. So you need to determine the systems that you're going to need. You might not need them now, but you want to at least start thinking about them and have it on your radar. So like at one point in time when I was only working with a few clients one-on-one, Well, when I had my publishing agency, I used Trello for project management, and then we managed all of our actual clients and their folders through a CRM. However, when I transitioned from done for you agency work into consulting, then I needed different systems. So like the first time I ran a group program, I may have had 8 people in it. So I was able to hop on Zoom. I was able to share, give them the resources, go through the instruction. We had another day where we would do Q&A and then some implementation. And then I would just send them the recording via a Google Drive folder. But then when you have 25, 50 clients in, that doesn't work, especially if you have multiple programs running at the same time like we do. That doesn't work. So I had to stop doing stuff the cheap way. And then I had to invest into a solid course hosting platform that would hold or house the actual instructional content. I also had to develop a cadence for communication, how we would send communication out, what that looked like. So you got to understand that for different stages in your business, and depending on the type of business that you're going to have, different tools are going to be needed. One of the things that I see all too often is that people are too quick to try to run out to get tools and systems that they don't need. And now you're sitting here paying for it, but nothing's paying you. Nobody's paying you. So here you are paying for a platform month after month after month, and you don't even have a plan to actually utilize. So one of the things I tell my clients is to focus on generating the income first, and then use the revenues from that product or use the revenues from that service to pay for the systems that you need. A lot of people jump the gun too quickly, and then they sit up mad blaming somebody else when it's you. You didn't use your critical thinking skills. Why are you going out getting this platform because somebody you watch said to get it when you're not even in a space in your business where you need that? It is okay to grow into something. Now, when you know you are growing into something and you're like, listen, I'm going to be proactive and go ahead and get this because I know what I'm about to do in the next month, 2 or 3 months, then that's different, because that's what I did. When I knew, I said, I'm about to start running ads. I'm about to scale up my programs. The site that I have on Wix right now and the way that we're housing our recordings is not going to work. I need to shift my systems to prepare for the shift that I'm about to make in my business. That was strategic, but I didn't just go out and get something because somebody else said to get it. I knew that I was going to need it. Do you all see the difference there? So you want to get what you need, but you also want to, and you also want to make sure that you have results as you plan for where you're headed next. But if you haven't gotten results yet, stop going out and getting stuff and adding it. You got a bill and you haven't had any results. Go book some client. Matter of fact, book some free consultations. Book some paying clients. Do that. And when you generate income from it, stop spending it. Reinvest it back into your business. And for those of you all who already have multiple 6-figure businesses, make sure that you work with a tax strategist and an accountant, and that you are on the up and up, or whatever you're trying to do under the table will come back to bite you in your behind. For my multiple 6-figure business owners who are trying to grow to your 500K or $1 million, you need to make sure that you have your proper systems in place, documentation as well. Systems is not just the tech tool that you are using. Systems also includes your processes. It also includes your procedures. It includes your policies, your SOPs, so that if you get sick, if you want to take a break, or if you just want to take some time off, your team can manage everything for you, and everything can still run without you having to be in the day-to-day. The last thing you want to consider when you are building a scalable consulting program is that you want to consider your time. You want to consider your time up front, meaning that, and I actually just saw an influencer, she'd gone away for a year and came back, And she said that she had suffered extreme burnout. And one of the reasons why is because she saw these people who were all around her creating these masterminds. And so she created this mastermind that also gave her people's teams access to her. And they were doing this and doing that. And it was a lot more time intensive than what she thought it was going to be, because she thought about what she wanted to give, but she never factored in what giving that was going to require of her and require from her. So you want to consider your time. You want to consider your time. So one of the things that I have done, especially like last year, I told my team, I said, we're about to change some things because I've worked hard. I'm one of those, I've worked hard over the past few years now. So I'm not working as hard this year as I have in the past. I'm not. We're about to change some things up. So one of the things that I did is that I structured my programs to where I can show up during the day, because we used to do our Q&A calls in the evening. And I'm like, I done worked the full day. My kids have come home. I've cooked dinner, helped them with homework or whatnot. And now I'm on this coaching call and I'm tired and I've worked a 12, 14-hour day. I'm not doing it. So one of the things that we did in 2024, we changed our Q&A times from the evenings to the daytimes. And I made them convenient to where they're around lunch, to where people can tune in on their lunch break. And I did a poll to ask which of these times work best for y'all. I can't please everybody, but what I'm not doing is doing calls late at night anymore. I couldn't do that for myself because I had to prioritize my own mental and physical health, and also teach my clients how to do that as well. So I structured my programs so where we were able to show up during the day, but I can service all clients and work 20 hours a month. If that was all I was doing. We have the live event and all that kind of stuff. So a lot of my time during the week is taken up with those types of things. But if all I did was run our group coaching programs, then I could service all my clients in about 20 hours per month. And they still get amazing results. And that includes nurturing them, checking up on them, responding to them in emails, all of that. But number one, I'm very clear on the type of clients I work with. My clients are already very busy. They have a lot going on. So they're not going to want to be on a call all day or in a Facebook group all day. They're running businesses. They're leaders at their jobs. Their time is valuable too. So I'm very clear with who I work with. I don't work with needy people. When they need me, I'm there. But I don't work with needy people who can't function on their own. I work with self-starters. I work with leaders. I work with folks who are leading teams. So the people that I work with have certain qualities and characteristics that allows them to still be effective and efficient at what they do. And they're going to bring the important things to me. They're going to bring their questions to me. They're going to use their resources. And that's what they do. Some of you all might be working with some clients that are pulling on you too much. You need to change the type of clients that you're working with. Okay. So like right now, even though I still have very busy days, a lot of my time now is spent doing a lot of the back of the house work. We're getting some things in order. We're switching over from some systems. I'm making sure that we have all of our SOPs documented. Everything is published. The team knows what to do. I'm training 2 new team members. So a lot of my time right now is going into that because I've actually spent years creating the curriculum, developing the curriculum for my programs, all those things. So you want to make sure that you consider your time. I'm able to shut the consulting part of my business off by the time I pick my children up. And that is what I wanted. Now, I might have some one-on-one clients that might reach out to me through Voxer, but that's a quick voice message. But I'm able to be home and really lean into my kids. Like my son, he was behind. The pandemic. Due to the pandemic, I had pulled him out of preschool. He wasn't feeling being at home with me all day, and he hated to read when he was younger. I would try to read to him. I would try to go over the alphabets, watch videos. He was not having it. But now he cares about what he's doing. He's 8. And so now we're doing, and hear me out. For 2 years, I paid a high level tutor in place for enrichment where him and his sister would go twice a week. I paid thousands of dollars because she was advanced. I wanted to make sure she was advanced, and she stayed advanced. When he entered kindergarten, he wasn't reading fluently the way that I wanted him to. So I wanted him to catch up on his reading. And I kept him in. It wasn't for 2 years, maybe a year and a half. And after a year and a half, I didn't see the growth that I wanted to see. I pulled them out. But what I do now, I tutor my own children in the afternoons. I sit down, like, no, you're going to read this book. I read with him. We have workbooks that we go through in addition to his schoolwork. He gets so upset with me sometimes, but he's doing it and he's seeing improvement. And that's what I wanted. But in order to do that, I had to structure things in a way in which I wasn't working at 5, 6, 7 o'clock in the evenings anymore like I used to. I'm like, no, I'm prioritizing myself, my own mental health, my family. When my kids are home, I'm working with them. So you have to be clear on how you're going to structure your time and how the type of consultant offer that you are creating, how that's going to pull on you, your energy, and your time commitments. You have to consider that. So when you're creating your consultant offer, you need to sit down, and when you map out what you want it to look like, you need to then determine, what is this going to require of me, and what is this going to require from me? And do I have the capacity and desire and commitment to do that? And if you don't, then that means you might need to change your offer so that you don't find yourself in a situation where you're selling something that you can no longer fulfill.